Hey guys, we're going to give you a shop update. We're in my upper shop here. I acquired some new things over the winter. I want to show you. We got a Craftsman 12-inch lathe I picked up. It comes with its own steel sturdy stand, tooling, bunch of things. I've never really messed with a lathe a whole lot, so I'm going to learn. Really only need it for turning down bushings and parts instead of the old way I used to grind on things to waller out a hole or something. This is just a lot more efficient and more precise. Should come in real handy. Then we have over here something I always wanted with a milling machine. Come with this nice sturdy table, 1/2-inch thick steel table. It's a central machinery milling machine. And again, it's going to be a learning curve because I never fooled with one of these. I always wanted one. Comes with a bunch of tooling over here in the cart. These bolts and these rods are used to hold down the workpiece on the table. That's what these are for. And then we have regular end mills, like if you want to mill out a slot. And then you have boring bars to bore out a hole. I do know what those are. And a standard type drill bit chuck. There's some other things I have no idea, like this little number here. And also these here. You set these up on there and this will give you an indication of out of round. You can zero them in and it will show you slight imperfection when you're turning the part. But there again, I have to figure out how to set all this stuff up. But also, this bench came with a nice vise. It's an older unit, been well used, but for holding down parts, this thing is essential. We have a small one over here, but this is a toy in comparison to this one. And this thing has its little, I think I could bolt a different type of machine, or have to figure out what we're going to do with this, but it's spring loaded. It locks into place.
Do it again. Neat.
Or it'd be nice if you're working on something, you just need a place to clamp a part down when you work on it. Say you're drilling or grinding on something. Really nice table, has a shelf underneath to put storage. We kind of set it here, this part in the shop, so we can work around it easily. There's good lighting above it.
I also got the drill.
Yeah, over here we have a drill press we acquired. 5/8 of an inch. This one's nice because you can put your workpiece clear down low if you have a real big long part. But it's just nice because you're here at working height. Couldn't resist. I do have a drill press in the lower shop, a bench model, but it was nice to just have one up here when we're working. Kind of making this the mechanic machine shop. So we have assorted general tools here, impact sockets, extensions, different types of sockets. We have a metric and standard wrenches. There's some hammers and pry bars, an assortment of ratchets and deep well sockets. Well,
Had to throw that in there, you know. What are we working on over here?
we're working on an old John Deere 317 garden tractor. We took it all down to the frame, repainted everything, and I put it back together, had it running. I was pushing some snow with it there, but when it was parked, I noticed it was leaking some oil. You can see the spot on the floor. The hydrostatic unit bolts to the rear end. It was leaking around where the input shaft goes, so we had to tear it back down again. We have to pull the motor out to get the drive shaft out in order to pull the hydrostatic unit off. And all it is a simple gasket. So I'm going to just go ahead and replace other seals just so it's all taken care of. I don't want to have to tear this apart again for a long time. We're going to try to do it right this time. It's once you know how something comes apart, if you have to get in there again, it's not so bad because you know where every part goes. It's just that first initial teardown's the rough part.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a good old tractor. They don't build them like these anymore. The new stuff's nice, but it's just not designed and engineered like the old stuff. A lot less plastic, a lot less parts that fail. This is a 41-year-old machine. Still runs good, just needs some seals.
Yeah, we have another one we're going to work on too in the corner. And we can talk about the diesel too. That was our grandfather's tractor. We're going to get on this 110 and do a resto job for that. Tear it down, paint it.
This unit's got a, it's either 8 or 10 horsepower Kohler, the old Kohler K-Series cast iron engine. I cleaned the carb out on it, we got it running, but it has electrical issues. The negative wire started melting down. But we want to take it apart and give it a paint job, clean it up, go through all the systems, rewire it, and give it a new start on a new life. This machine, I think, sat many years in a garage that we found it in. Again, it's an older machine, but these old machines were built to last. Very heavy duty. It seems Americans took pride years ago in what they built. Today, it's all about the company making money, it seems. More plastic, more aluminum parts that are cheap and easy to manufacture. They look good on the surface, but in the long run, they just don't last. And this is our grandfather's too. We traded this 317 in a 93 for this 455.
That's right. The 317 was Pap's first tractor,
Yeah.
first John Deere he bought.
We bought it in 1981. In fact, that was a couple years before I was born. But in 93, he decided to trade in this machine. And my uncle's family bought the 317 off the dealer that he traded it. And I just was able to reacquire the unit. But this machine is a diesel. Has a 3-cylinder liquid-cooled Yanmar engine. This engine still runs as good as the day it was sold to us.
And do a cold start?
Yeah, this machine has glow plugs. Cold start, wait till the light goes out. We never change glow plugs. Everything's original except for the radiator. I remember I was only 10 years old when this machine was delivered. When I drove that one up on the trailer and run this one for the first time, the biggest difference I noticed was the control. The 317 has a hand lever, hydrostatic, that controls the forward reverse. This one was one of the early machines with a foot control. I think John Deere's the one that pioneered these the foot pedals. And this is not a treadle pedal. You put your heel on the pad and you can either work the forward or reverse. That was a game changer because now my left hand can run the steering, right hand runs the hydraulics, your foot controls the direction. Much more intuitive when you're operating the machine. The other one, it's like a juggling act. You got 3 different functions with 2 hands. Still doable if you get proficient at it. But with your left hand on the 317, we'll look over here at comparison. You got your hydraulic controls on the left hand, your steering in between, and you have your forward reverse control here. The hydrostatics is still a nice function compared to the older gear units. You have fully variable speed and direction control, but you have to juggle between the controls. These are really sought after machines. The machine that replaced this was a 318 in 1983. I think that run clear up to 92 when these new tractors come out. But again, it's a little bit different design, but still better quality, I think. These are decent quality. The 400 series, when they come out, had a lot of revolutionary features for the day. It's basically the Cadillac of garden tractors. Had a full array of attachments. We have a 54-inch shaft-driven mower deck. We have a 54-inch front blade, and then a couple years ago I found this 47 snowblower, two-stage snowblower. Got it for a really good price. We don't get big snows a lot, but when we do, it's a really efficient way to blow heavy snow. There's just nothing like a snowblower for them big drifts. And they've also changed how they mount the attachments between the newer tractors. This is still on a current John Deere. If you buy a new X700 series, they still have the same design. They use the same hydraulic hitch for all the front attachments. You can go to a blade, a blower, and broom. The older ones, they were all integral to each attachment. This is an older, the 317 here has the older 54-inch plow, and as you can see, this whole hitch assembly is for the plow only. They had snow blowers, and I think a broom for these, but the attachments were belt drive on the front, where the newer ones went to shaft drive. But again, the hydraulic blade is way nicer. Even if it's on this older machine, hydraulics are so nice. They're easy on the controls. Your fingertip control, precise movement, very powerful compared to a manual system. But anyway, this is some of the things that we got in our upper shop here. This is where we work on lawnmowers, and occasionally we'll pull a truck or something in here. This doesn't have the ceiling height in here to do big work. My lower shop, I do the welding. We also acquired this nifty little engine lift. I didn't have anything to lift parts up here. I think that one video we went to the junkyard, we found this for $40.
Yeah, a couple videos back, us messing around the junkyard, seeing the machines. We saw this guy.
And I was able, the original ram leaked, and I'm like, it's just not worth messing with. These things are kind of easy to replace. So eBay had one of these for $35. I mean, if it fails, I'll just get another one. This has limited use, so when I need to lift a part, it is nice. And I can wheel it anywhere in the shop. It's adjustable. We can take the legs off of it. The boom on it here is fully adjustable with the several pins. And as you can see, we're using it to lift the engine out of the way while we work on it. Kind of did a redneck prop on it for the now. But yeah, it's nice to have a fully equipped shop. If you're into equipment, if you make your living with equipment, you got to have a good shop. And the more you can do yourself, the more money you can save yourself. And like our area, it's hard to find a shop that can work on anything that they know what they're doing. Most shops today, that they're there to make a quick buck. Very few people anymore are true professionals in their craft. But I've always been interested in mechanical things, and over the years I've learned to do different things on my own. And it's come to the point now I have a nice equipped shop with enough tools and know-how to do pretty much just about any job. There's certain things I don't care to get into, like transmissions and pumps and things. Some things I think are better off if you just send them out. But if we can do the majority of our repair, we do it here in-house. And again, here we have a radiator for our blue truck. I bought this. This is an aftermarket, basically a Chinese brass radiator, and it worked for a little while, but the components are good. It's a good core, good tank, but they did not solder the joints very well. The soldering was very shoddy. I only got maybe a year or so use out of this before it started leaking, and I went to Advance Auto and bought another one. It's lasted a little longer, but now it's starting to leak on both tanks, so I took this to my local radiator shop, and the guy tore it all down and he resoldered it real good. So this unit is all ready to go. We're going to install this in our truck for the spring. Come summer, I don't want to have any downtime because of a bad radiator. these old radiators you can rebuild. The newer ones are aluminum plastic. Once they fail, you got to buy a new one. And also one other note, we got a new furnace in the garage. The old furnace, it was from the 70s. It was a good one, but it was just time for a new one. I found this carrier for $100, and we tore down the old concrete chimney and we installed a new metal chimney, and it works way better furnace. The blower's way stronger. It heats this garage up really quick. And we're working on this engine on this Husqvarna. I sold this to my one friend. The engine, it has 1,600 hours, and here we discovered he was having a problem with it. The carburetor, it started acting like a governor problem. The engine started racing. He couldn't control the throttling on it, and we tore it apart. We checked the bottom end, and here the camshaft. Let's see, we have the cam right here. These Briggs & Strattons are known for cam problems. And what we have here is a flyweight that controls a exhaust release, decompression release. And most engines today have high compression where it will not start without this feature. And Briggs & Stratton, their engineers, I don't know what they're thinking, but they make these parts out of pot metal, and this cracked. And so this was part of the problem. This was an issue here. So we replaced this with a good used unit, tightened, put the crankcase, put everything back together. We readjusted the valves. We set the engine back in the machine, and here it had a loud tick, and I'm on this cylinder right here. And here, come to discover, the here we go. We have a 2-barrel carburetor. Bolts came out of the butterfly, and this got sucked into the engine and was stuck onto the piston here. And that little bolt was smacking against the head, causing a ticking sound. So we took the head off and discovered, yeah, we had some damage, but luckily the cylinder bore is still good. The head's still good. It didn't damage anything. The valves are still good. So we're gonna get some new parts and clean everything up and put her back together. Whenever an engine is making an abnormal noise, that's a sign that there's something wrong. You need to investigate, and sometimes you got to investigate down to this point where you're taking major components apart. But this is just something that happened. This doesn't happen too frequently, but this is what happens if parts come loose and get sucked in your intake. Always something with mechanical things, it never ends. But anyway, this is some of the stuff we're into. I wanted to give you an update, a little tour of the shop here. Things are always changing around here, and we'll give you a look here as things progress. Thanks for watching. Join us again next time.